Hey guys, Loman02 back again. We're going to be doing some more testing with MTG Shark. He is trying to pilot to perfection his High Tide Storm deck. I am going to be playing a vastly different deck than the last match. I'll be playing 4-color Blood, which is a 4-color quintessential midrange / midrange aggro deck. This hand is virtually unkeepable and has no redeeming qualities in it, so we're going to mulligan this one. And this hand is much better. I mean, I'm going to act like I don't know what I'm going into here, so I'm going to keep this. This is not a great hand against High Tide combo. You ideally want some, like, discard. Rallier. I think we actually bottom that guy, and the rationale is I have 2 4s and a 3 already. Like, I kind of want some, like, good early dudes or some interaction. Alright, well, that's a thing. Alright, go. Maybe I should have fetched there. I do want my 4th land, but I definitely want green mana more than I want black, red, and white mana right now. Okie doke. A Baral. Cool. Oh, that was a good draw. Get in there, Baral. Or Dark Confidant. Does not attack very well into Baral, but okay. So we're playing against High Tide combo, which means, well, this deck may have some frailties against this matchup. Alright, that's cool. That's fine, actually. I don't think I have time to screw around with Bob. I think I just want to get a clock on them. And if they have, like, a memory lapse or something, they can counter this dude, but, you know, it's another card out of their hand. Or Remand would work. This is a big lady right here. She is a big lass. I probably have to cut Grand Warlord Errata. The card kind of enticed me, but I think it's really more for just a base green deck. A stronger base green. This is a green X deck, really, not a base green deck. Alright, she is resolved. Cool. Maybe they had to debate if they wanted to Force of Will her. I would be happy if they Force of Will that Offenza. She is big and she ends the game quick, but I have plenty of cards that do that, right? It's kind of just what this deck does. Okay. I'm going to 2-spell this turn. I'm going to play out the Bob and the Fleecemane Lion. Rising Waters, I think, was a card, too. Or was it the card that bounces all the dudes for how many islands you have? They know this card's in my hand, so I'll present it first. I think I would rather actually have Dark Confidant stick than Fleecemane Lion, but we could be getting Rising Waters at our end step here, but that would not bounce the Offenza. Correct? Yeah, correct. Sure. I don't think there's actually a wrong answer. Randomly enough, I do not think there's a wrong answer for what we could fetch there. Our mana is actually pretty good right now. Now we really just don't want to draw more lands. This may get countered as well. Maybe like Miscalc for 1. They get to loot. Alright. Rising Waters? No? Okay. I can't remember if that's sorcery or instant, guys. Or instant. They would have note bounced their own dude as well. Okay, Impulse for 1. Seems fair, man. Seems fair. No, I don't mind. Baral is a very cool card. He unfortunately does not see as much play. He saw a lot of play in 1v1, and there he was broken. It was a polymorph deck. It was just abysmal to play against and with. In this format, Highlander, he doesn't see as much play. He tends to see play in, like, hard combo decks, and I've seen him played in, like, control decks, but I don't think he's as good there. I think he's kind of actually medium. Alright, let's draw for a turn. Discard. Yes! See, I was talking about it the other day in my cube drafts, like, if you call it out, it'll come to you. Like, that's what you got to do. And I know I'm not going to be casting the Arquim Marchesa this turn, but I'm going to force them to counter this. And then I'll play another dude out, right? Like, they can either counter this or lose something in their hand. Yep, they're going to Force of Will it. And I figured they had this in their hand. So they got rid of a massive draw spell. So they have High Tide in hand is what they're kind of telling me here. Alright, so you get to loot. Cool, go ahead and loot. I have not made a land drop this turn, so Courser probably makes more sense over Miri, even though Courser attacks for a little bit less. I should probably do the math, but I'm not going to. There's probably more correct math involving Miri to see if we could actually do lethal faster. But if they don't block this turn at all... Alright, let's see what else you got. You got another counter? Nope, but I have an Abrupt Decay on top. I don't know how good that's going to be, but I guess we'll find out together. Probably not very. Alright, well, you got to kill me this next turn. Yeah, maybe they can. Maybe they can. They did just pitch a lot of cards, though, to force the duress. Okay, Compulsive Research. Okay. Now I'm feeling pretty good about our prospects here. Because I can just Marchesa next turn, which is a must counter at this point in the game, I think. They can still go land in, like, Rising Tides to bide time. What do they pitch? Past in Flames? Okay. Alright, land. So they need to have happen here. They need to play lands. Condescend and Past is pretty good for us, though, in the yard. Exist doesn't do anything. I guess it's actually not bad for them either. They really needed land, is I think what they're going for. So what do we believe they have in hand? High Tide and what else? Alright, they don't have High Tide then. Why would they force my duress? Because if they had High Tide, they would have cast it prior to resolving Frantic Search. Right? Because it makes, obviously nets mana. Alright, Mind's Desire going in the way of the yard. Land, because they already played one this turn. Alright, untap, up to 4. If they're just going to Rising Waters on 2 cards, like down to 1 card and then a draw step, I feel pretty good about this. I feel like we're winning this match. Or this game, at least, at that point. One of the issues with decks like High Tide is, while I do think they're actually very good against control decks, in some versions of midrange, I think they have significant liabilities against aggressive starts. And this deck does tend to have... So the reason 4-color Blood is so awesome, or why I like the deck a lot, is of its flexibility. Which I guess, is pretty much quintessential to saying a deck's mid-range in the first place. Alright, so they're drawing a bunch of cards, cool. But the deck has a very easy time either playing control or playing very aggressively. Like just running them over. Alright, I will draw Abrupt Decay. Alright, I will draw a Noble Hierarch. Alright, I will play out Stomping Grounds. I'll Abrupt Decay your dude. Now, if they have, like, the Rising Waters card, I'll just, I'll have to replay my stuff. Should stink. But I think if they had that, they probably would have done it before. Alright, they're not conceding. That a lethal attack? Okay, Giga Drowse. Okay. They're just going to tap down my attackers, so they go to 3. Okay, they got another turn here. Yep. That was rationale to play on another attacker, but I think we would have been wrong if we'd done that. Alright, so green, a white, and then Miri. Sure, go. Well, 4 cards. Preordain, that's 1 land down. Every time High Tide taps a land, it's a success story for you if you're playing against them. Every time they tap an island and they do not play a High Tide, it's a success, because that means they're less likely to go off that turn. Alright, they played a land. Down to 3. Got High Tide. It was very hard for me to believe they did not have High Tide the last time we played. Alright, they're going to turn about my dudes. Alright. Alright, well, this is going to become a problem for you, so I'm just going to cast it out right now. I think this is more relevant than Queen Marchesa. If they bounce my critters, I'll just start eating their hand apart. Alright, you have a counterspell. Cryptic Command would be good here. I guess, actually, that being the rationale, maybe it was more intelligent for us not to do it. In my mind, I was seeing God, I can't think right now. I was seeing Turnabout, not Cryptic, but Cryptic would be pretty good too. All right, land. Okay. Well, my mind is good, I guess. I saw it. But they're down to 1 card plus 2 now. I don't see how they get out of this. Alright, this. Yeah, Liliana kind of just seals the deal. Liliana is one of our power cards against them, as is like Duress. I think this deck runs him. Yeah, that's fine. That's just F6 here. I cannot do anything. I can fetch. And I may fetch. Putrid Leech really doesn't fundamentally change. Like, any out they would have, Putrid Leech does not change if it's an out or not. So, I will probably fetch on my upkeep to try to find something, and then, find a discard spell or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we're losing this one. We're not sideboarding here because we are playing a German Highlander, but yeah, I would love to. The Knight of Autumn should be in the main deck. That card's good enough. Choke is probably something we would bring in, which is a god-awful beating. Collective Brutality would come in, and then the blast package, the red blast and the pyro blast there. But we're not sideboarding here. We're playing German Highlander. All right, Bitter Blossom. Well, this hand's a keep. Yeah, very easy. Keep. Go. I don't even know if I duress on turn 1. I probably do. And then the question becomes, do I proactively or reactively use the card here? That'd be a U, I think, a Bayou, or is it Scrub a Dub land? Actually, like Scrub land here. I do have 2 double green requirements, which is kind of hinky with it, but we'll draw into more lands. And if we don't, Tarmogoyf and Bitter Blossom are pretty decent threats. Turn 1 duress on a combo deck always feels bad. Alright, they're going to daze it. Alright, cool. Nope. Well, that means at a minimum, the Blossom or the Goyf are going to resolve. What's a faster clock? Probably the Goyf. I don't know, though. Yeah, probably Goyf. Plus, if Bitter Blossom gets countered, Goyf gets massive. Okay, Island. Well, we haven't been drawing well. I'm just going to toss this out because if they want to counter it, I want them to do it on my first main phase, so Goyf gets bigger, so counter it. Tribal Enchantment Fairy. Enchantment plus a Tribal Fairy. Yes, that's exactly what I want to see. Alright, 5/6 Goyf. 4-turn clock. Seems fair, right? And if we draw a fetch land, we can just play a Tasigur out, which is not bad. Let's do this. F6. I didn't need to play this my main one. I just did. Alright, Impulse. I'm just forcing them to have answers every single time. I just want to put them under pressure. Like, I want their mana to always be used to stop my stuff. So to me, like, a lot of players get upset when their spells get countered. Like, I honestly don't care. I think if you play in a way that you maximize its benefit, i.e. us, like, getting our Bitter Blossom counter, which I was very happy when they did, because I think actually it's probably faster to have Goyf be a 5/6 than to make 1/1s and take a damage every upkeep. I think it's very slow. Alright, resolves, cool. Bob on top. Bob's less good, but at least we have another look at a land. I'd rather just hit like a white land or any land, any untapped land, which is most of them in the deck. There's some man lands. Okay, Dizzy Spell for High Tide. Alright, well, now we want to hit what? We could even, if we see a discard spell on top, I'll probably sack the Horizon Canopy to discard from their hand. I think that would be better. I mean, actually, are they just dead? Yeah, if I can play Marchesa next turn, they just die. Marchesa's just a beast. My God. That's 10 damage. Oof. Yeah, I mean, if we hit a land behind the Bob that's untapped, I think we can just cast Marchesa. And that is game over. Unless they have Force. Alright, they got High Tide. They're not using it this turn, though. Alright, I think we just go for it here. I don't think we wait. Yeah, Goyf is a 5/6 is a pretty big game. Alright, so red, black, white. Doesn't really matter what we get, right? So we want double white and double green. We already have double white and double green. Alright, well, I guess we just get a Bayou then. Alright, sure. Yup. Alright, black, white, red, colorless, Queen Marchesa. Have a Force of Will. A turn 5 kill on 4-color blood. Four-color blood is very aggressive. Like, this deck is it's a gorgeous deck, really. I mean, it has bad matchups. I do not think this is per se one of them. Like, certain combo decks just smoke it. All right, they have Force of Will. All right, so they're going to have to pitch something to get this. They got to do it because they're just dead otherwise. So this is what they needed to have. We already know the days out of their deck, and then Palinchron's gone. Okay. So can they combo next turn still? I think now it's going to be contended. And this is down to 1. Almost turn 4 kill, guys. Very, very close. All right, 1 life. The problem with Force of Will is now they're just down really far on cards, and Palinchron is one of the combo loops for this deck. So with the draw step and the other 2 cards they have that are not High Tide, can they make something with 6 mana happen? They could Time Spiral, and they still have a land drop for the turn, so Time Spiral will be probably their best draw. That'd be their best card in their hand to combo with the High Tide they have. They cannot fetch here of note, so if they need to fetch to get a colored source of any other sort, then they're in trouble. They can obviously, draw 7 into a black or red source. This deck tends to need black and red to actually cast their win condition. They can stroke you out. All right, that was so. Actually, no, they can play a tapped one here, and then they can frantic search. Did they already frantic search this game? They did not frantic search this game. All right, is this what do we have here? Is this going to be Time Spiral? I'm actually really happy for them if they have it. Like, that's sick. I think it's cool. All right, Treachery. Okay, whatever. The threat is still tapped, though, so you're still under duress here. Okay. Down to 1. What's the last card? Like, bounce. All right, fact. Okay. Twister I don't want him to have. Frantic Search with 1 card is, I think, maybe I should have gone land Frantic Search. I don't know. Like, Into the Royal is actually a cost. All right, so they take Twister. Okay. Well, they're going to have a little bit of mana left. But they're YOLO in here. Okay, I didn't draw a win. But now the Goyf is tiny, too, which is kind of funny. Goyf's a little fella now. I did draw a burn spell, unfortunately. I guess I have BBE. I shouldn't complain. BBE is pretty good. All right, what else have we got? Can you untap? All right, High Tide. 1 land left. Frantic Search. Oof. If they get there, that's sick. You got it? Candelabra. All right, they can untap 2 and go back up to 4. All right, 2. Oh, that's 3 now because it's 2 High Tides, 3 lands. Back up to 9. All right, they got me? I'm just going to have 6. I can't stop this. If they got it, that's sick. I do think it was very lucky, but I think it's sick, too. The probabilities of winning this game, about a turn ago, I would have said were below 5%. But this is sick, so I think it's cool. I think it's very cool. All right, you got it? It's still not assured they have this, so I'm not going to concede, even though this is very cool. All right, Intuition to find 3 things that likely untap stuff, like Snap, Frantic Search, and Time Spiral. They're not getting Time Spiral. Possibly give them Frantic Search. Snap. They could use something that actually also bounces, like Repeal. Snap doesn't work on non-creature permanents. Repeal is not bad for Candelabra of Thanos. Can they give me 3 cards and bamboozle me into giving them one that I should not give them? I don't know. I've played a lot of Storm and High Tide my time, so I think I'm going to be able to figure out what the worst card for them is and give them that. But the other issue is, they may have just enough mana to Past in Flames. Can they win at 1 life? That'd be sick. I'm really hoping they do, actually. I kind of want to see them figure it out, though. I think with Intuition there is possible stacks. There has to be, depending on how their deck's built. But I know if I was casting Intuition, I feel like I would... I don't know how their deck's built, but I feel like I would have built my deck in a way that with 6 mana, I could win with 3 given cards, especially with the Candelabra in play. I mean, hell, they could even bounce Treachery, and that would be good, too, because they could just recast on something else and make mana off of Treachery, as opposed to just get it back. Yeah, like snap, repeal, twister, and then I have to give them what? Repeal, I guess. Yeah, repeal is probably the best of those options. You could bounce the Candelabra of Thanos, and then they would have 5 mana left. That's just hope. That's me hoping they don't have good cards in their hand. But the other two are just known good cards, and one of them just makes more mana. Okay, Thousand Year Storm you're not getting. Wheel of Fortune. Do I give a crap about that? Well, wait a second. If I give you Past in Flames, you can make 6 mana with 2 floating. If I give you Wheel of Fortune, you have 3 mana floating after this nonsense is complete, which means you can cast Frantic Search to untap, yada yada yada. But if I give you Past in Flames, you only have 2 left. And you have to tap both lands to play it, right? I mean, what does Thousand Year Storm do? Does it do anything this turn? They've already made their land drop. Yeah, take Past in Flames. I think that is the best way to do this for me. Thousand Year Storm could possibly also be right too, but if they have like a diamond or something in their hand, I mean, if they have actually Gitaxian Probe, I guess they can draw a bunch. Maybe it was Thousand Year Storm. Give them Thousand Year Storm because they can only hard cast it right now. But if they have a way to like, I would be kicking myself if they had like Lotus Petal, like I guess it would be Lotus Petal. What could they have? Mox Diamond, Lotus Petal, like repeal the repeal the Candelabra. Actually, maybe it was Thousand Year Storm. That was probably actually correct. All right, so you got 3. You need to tap your other land, and then you're down to 2 mana. And you can't cast anything in your yard ostensibly right now. Now, Frantic Search, I probably just concede. I'm just like, yep, game over. Like, you got it. But I think that would have been the case regardless of what I gave them. If it was Thousand Year Storm, I would have definitely lost to that. If it was Frantic Search. That's why I think you just give them this and say, hey, have it. All right, muddle. Down to 3 at this point. 3 mana. So what do they muddle for? Muddle for Frantic Search. Wait, it doesn't do it. Snap. Untap 2, back up to 6 mana. That leaves them exactly where they were at before. At 2 mana, Snap is the only one I can think of. Cloud of Fey leaves them 1 mana up. So they can recast the Twister or the Wheel of Fortune. They can recast the Wheel of Fortune. So if they do Cloud of Fey or Snap, they can snap my Courser, so I don't have a lethal attack next turn. Untap 2 lands, leave 1 mana floating, tap both, make 7, cast Past in Flames, and then Wheel of Fortune. Or Time Twister. Alright, Snap. Snap was it. So they net 1 mana this way. This is cool. I'm digging it. They can snap my dude, and this ostensibly buys them a turn, but the bad news is I have Bloodbraid Elf in hand, and Bloodbraid Elf, unless they have Force of Will again, and or Daze, but I'll play around Daze, is going to kill them. So, they snap here. Alright, he's been snapped, and you're up to 7 mana. The hope is they can't win this turn. They're just doing this to, like, bide time. Because they have the cards to win next turn. So if they can't win right now, they probably just leave up Counter Magic. But obviously the risk here... Well, I guess they're on a double High Tide turn, so they really don't want to waste the double High Tide turn. I don't know what they do here. I pondered through the Snap decision without looking at their deck. And it was either that or Cloud of Fey, and I think Snap makes more sense because if you fizzle off the Wheel of Fortune that you're likely to cast here, I guess you're not casting Wheel then. You're casting Twister again. Or Intuition. Or Snap goes again. So Snap goes again. Oh, we'll see what happens. Snap does happen again. They can snap the Goyf back to my hand, and then Time Twister us both. Okay, Snap, and then Treachery back to Yard. Okay, and then they're up to 7 mana now. They cannot get Thousand Year Storm online, though. Because that is, unfortunately for them, not a spell. But they could cast, another High Tide if they'd like, but then it's exiled for good. That puts them up to 8 mana off of both these as opposed to 7. So it is mana positive, so they should cast High Tide here. But it leaves them trapped on 1 red mana. So I assume they probably go for a Twister here. They have to kill me right now because they don't have High Tide in their deck anymore, which means it's going to be very challenging to win. if they do not get me here. But what do they have to tutor with? They have Intuition, which could get Brain Freeze, I suppose. Alright, here we go. I feel like this is a wheel, actually. Alright, wheel. Okay, I have Kolaghan's Command to win next turn. And they're on 5 mana now. Can 5 mana do it? Alright, what do we got? Turnabout. Repeal. That nets up a bunch of mana. That makes 8 mana here. So they play it for 1, make 8. Okie doke. Then we untap Steam Vents and Island, and we have 8 mana, I assume. And now it's just, do they get any untap effects? If they did, we kind of lose. But they're also running a lot of lands in their deck, so it's very easy to miss on a draw 7. They get another look with the repeal here. Okie doke. So, you got me? It's Storm Count 14. Ignite Memories would probably kill me here. Is that what they got? Okay, Baral. I don't think I care about that. That's actually, I mean, it's fine. It's either going to work or it's not. Alright, they're casting Brainstorm. I kind of like sequencing Brainstorm before Baral here. Because, I mean, you're going to see new cards, even if you don't have a shuffle effect this turn. And Baral is kind of just, you don't need him per se. And he's actually, unless you cast 2 additional spells, he's actually not mana, he's actually a mana negative. He's not mana neutral. And it takes 3 spells to actually go mana positive with him on this turn. So I don't know if I like that line. I think I would have waited on Baral. I mean, I guess unless they're worried I have Force of Will, but they don't have Force of Will. I'm playing Bloodbraid Elves and Bitter Blossoms and stuff. So, oh no! Alright, so we play around spell Pierce, right? Yeah. I mean, I could play out the voice, but like all I care about is winning right now. Discard a card, 2 damage any target. They can cast a counterspell for less mana, right? You know what? I rethought this. Let's do this. We're going to Shriekmaw the Baral, not play around Pierce, but play around a bazillion 2 mana counterspells that Baral makes it possible to cast, right? So let's get Badlands here. I almost whiffed this pretty hardcore. So black, Shriekmaw, kill your Baral. They can counter the Shriekmaw, but I think it is more likely. I think this is a better line than playing around Daze and or Spell Pierce. I guess Force of Will is another option. But I'm going to kill the Baral. And if they counter this, then I just win the game. Well, I mean, not per se. They could have another counter, like a free counter. But I think this actually plays around more cards than the other way. Yep, I like it. Alright, I don't want to give them a chance if they don't already have. If they already have the Daze, cool. If they were looking for it, or the Force of Will, then they got it. But either way, this is going to eat a lot of cards out of their hand. Got him. All right. I like that line. I do think, I mean, we didn't know per se it was miscalc. Could have been Remand, which would have made it uncastable this turn. It could have been Memory Lapse. Could have been Mana Leak. There's a lot of them that come in at 2 with 1 right here, a single 1. So that was kind of why I was like, I probably got to put a Shriekmaw down just to kill this guy and make their counterspell uncastable. The fact that they committed their counterspell to the Shriekmaw told me that indeed, like, they didn't have another counterspell beyond that. And they wanted to loot to see if they could find one. And we go for the Kolaghan's Command win here. Very sick performance out of MTG Shark and his deck. I think that was very sweet. You know, getting to see him like kind of come back from like what looked like a very assured position of death to basically like almost winning. Like, I mean, it came up to the variance of a draw 7 to see if he could win there. And at that point, we got a little bit lucky on my side to actually get the turn passed back to us, because once High Tide starts going, generally, you know, on a triple High Tide turn, which is what they were on, it's going to be very difficult to beat them. Now, if you miss on it, you know, like, it's going to be very tough for him to win after it's gone, because it's tough, like, unless you have Mana Flare around or something like that. To make the kind of mana that this deck needs to make to win. But very, very cool games. I hope you guys enjoyed. Look at this matchup in this testing series. So we played Blue-White Miracles against MTG Shark just before this, and now we're playing a more aggressive mid-range 4-color Bloodlist against his High Tide deck. And I really think you got to see the High Tide deck really kind of stand out there. You know, it kind of looks like it's doing nothing, but that is like, and it was very close to doing something very big, like, you know, just killing us with the Brain Freeze, or not Past in Flames, Ignite Memories or something like that, you know, just or even Tendrils, but generally it's going to be like Ignite Memories, or sometimes you see Empty the Warrens, or you just see straight up, you know, mill you with Brain Freeze. Very, very cool, though. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, and take care now.